Good evening, mi gente. This is Rico, your host of this simulcast of Found in Translation Talk Show, the talk show that stacks truth about the latest, hottest issues, and Bomba Live, the virtual Puerto Rican celebration. Did you really think Bomba Live you think Puerto Ricans were just going to party one day and forget about you for the year? Bomba Live ain't going nowhere. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Jose Rico Yasso. Later on in the show, we're going to have a return appearance from American Idol Puerto Rico finalist and Bomba Live participant, Aleyda Santos, directamente de Puerto Rico. We're going to give you our news update on how the Supreme Court decisions this week impact the Latino community. And later on the show, we're going to have a very special announcement on a A-list guest that's going to be coming on a future episode of Found in Translation Bomba Live. But first, we just experienced that we're part of history last Saturday. So we got to spend a little time discussing the historic Bomba Live virtual Puerto Rican celebration, 10.5-hour spectacular that included artist performances, entertainers, celebrity interviews, and incredible conversations with leading experts in the Puerto Rican community on a variety of issues. We got to take our breath and review this historic event that we just put together with the people that made it happen. The talent director and someone that Bomba Live would have never happened without her leadership, Christina Vega, is in the house.
Hi, what's up? I'm still on a high from Bomba Live.
Bomba, I mean, who isn't? I mean, this is dizzying. So much to discuss. But let me tell you something. Christina and I, when we put this together, we had a great lineup set up. But you know what? We got to have a real strong representation from the island of Puerto Rico. And when we enlisted this person, it was one of the best decisions I made.
That's right.
We're so happy that she came on to lead our Puerto Rico content production, the director of Bomba Live Puerto Rico. How she does it from Jersey, I'll never know. Shirley Santos.
Huepa, mi gente, ¿cómo están? Oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
There's nothing.
I knew Bomba Live was not going to stop with what we just did Saturday. It was so amazing. I knew that we had to continue with this.
We had to.
So much more.
The beginning.
We had to. And Aleyda Santos, who you brought to the table, is going to make another special appearance. She was so good, we had to bring her back. So, and I think you're going to be seeing that, whether it's a better translation of Bomba Live. Some of these artists, including one I'm going to announce at the end of the show, is going to make a return appearance. So we can spend more time on them. One song's not enough for these people. These people are so talented.
That's right.
From the comedians to the reggaetoneros to the people that play traditional Puerto Rican music, the scholars. I mean, we got to hear from these people. So, and we're going to hear about some other Puerto Ricans making headlines in our news segment as well. But let's start with you, Christina. Can you just give me your initial thoughts about what it was, how you feel about it several days later, and just your initial thoughts for people around Bomba Live last Saturday?
I'm super stoked still. I think I'm kind of just in awe. It took a lot of hard work in the background, and I think because we work so hard as a team in the background, it was like, okay, we're doing this, it's happening. And then once it happened, it was like, we really did the darn thing. So I'm still feeling super pumped about it because I'm still receiving so many amazing compliments from people. I think my biggest takeaway from all of this was that no matter what we go through, no matter bumps we pass throughout the time, regardless, if strong people get together and say we can do this, it can happen. I mean, I think it was super important for our message to get out there because we pretty much said it was going to be a virtual celebration, kind of to pick up on like the parades and different things we do, but we weren't just doing music. I think it was important that we included moments for kids because it was very educational. I think it was important that we not only showed light-skinned Hispanics and Boricuas, but we also showed our people from Loíza, people who are dark-skinned, so that people know that we don't just come in this color. And I think that's important to highlight right now, especially with the Black Lives Matter movement, so that we all know, we're in this together. So I think it was an amazing time. I'm still super excited. And I think we did the darn thing. And I'm proud of all of us because I think the show was just beneficial to a lot of people. A lot of people said that, they learned a lot from watching it and they were super happy that we did it.
The underlying, one of the underlying messages, there's a lot of messages that I think we conveyed and some that I wasn't even expecting really to come out, but they did in a very positive way. But I got a lot of commentary around, you know what? You didn't just not only did we send a strong message that Puerto Rican support Black Lives Matter, but this is also an issue that we have to deal with within our own community, the racism that exists with us. And of course, we're going to continue to support Colectivo ILE, which is a wonderful organization that fights social injustice in Puerto Rico, because we got racism in Puerto Rico. We got colorism. You've never seen an Afro-Puerto Rican be the governor of the island. And yeah, you may have an occasional celebrity that's Afro-Puerto Rican, but the large, significant Black or Blackish Puerto Rican community often gets sort of ignored. And there's definitely some class divides there. And we did a wonderful job, I think, as a group, highlighting all of who we are. Shirley, just your initial thoughts. I'm curious, Shirley, because one of the challenges that we have is the Puerto Rican community is so diverse. And even just amongst the diaspora, and it was so great to see Puerto Ricans, not only from the East Coast, Florida, Texas, the West Coast, Colorado, Chicago, the Midwest, the Deep South. But we tried to do something real ambitious, was to build that bridge entre los Boricua acá and folks on the island. You were the leader of that. So how do you think that that part of the show played out? We had several Spanish segments, and of course, artists from different genres in Puerto Rico.
I think it was excellent. One of the things that was conveyed to me from the artists in Puerto Rico was they were so appreciative. They were surprised. Many of them were surprised that we had an interest in having them as part of our show. I think there is a little bit of disconnect sometimes between the diaspora and the people back in the island, but they were like so excited because that's all they've wanted. I understand that we are one. No matter where we are one. And it was a great opportunity. I'm still receiving phone calls, emails, comments on Facebook. I certainly was so excited myself, and I was just so full of pride. I think that usually we have a tendency here in the United States that when we want to, feature our culture, we kind of just stick to the music, the food, el party, you know what I'm saying? And this was an opportunity to really dig into issues and an opportunity to really show how Puerto Ricans have been doing it in every facet of life. And my husband sat with me watching it, and he was like so amazed. Born and raised here in the United States, he had some idea, but he didn't have a full picture. And he just sat there with so much pride. And I think all of us felt very proud of what we put forth that Saturday.
There was a lot of education going on, even amongst the Puerto Rican community, because whether it was the conversation on race on the island, I've never seen in English language content of any kind so much real discussion around the issues like the Jones Act and the colonization of the island, not in the traditional island ideological terms,
right.
Just like, hey, this is why Puerto Rico's in the condition it is. And I think someone brought up the point, I think it was Ellie, who, by the way, I was so impressed by Ellie Castro. Much respect to Ellie, not only a fantastic comedian, but my man, I mean, one of our, and I need to have this conversation with him, one of our great leaders.
Down.
I mean, he really understands these issues and communicated to our community the way he understands. But that talking about how this colonial status over all decades and decades impacts the Puerto Rican community. We're owed money because of the Jones Act, and not the other way around because of the debt. But one of the people, and we're going to have a few music highlight clips of last Saturday's show and talk about how you can watch this weekend, the full replay of Bomba Live Virtual Puerto Rican Celebration online if you missed it or missed parts of it. But Maria Isa, who was someone that, most of us in the committee were not real familiar with. She refers to herself as a Soda Rican. She's a Minnesotan, Puerto Rican, raised out in Minneapolis. Not only a personal friend of George Floyd's, but an incredible artist. Did 2 songs for us, and we're going to play one now. This is a woman that, because of her relationship with George Floyd, wrote and performed for us a Bomba on Bomba Live in homenaje or her personal friend, George Floyd, someone that worked very closely with the Latino community in Minnesota. An incredible story. So let's play the clip from Maria Isa, and then we'll come back for Shirley and Christina's reflections.
Thank you. Como duele. cómo duele, cómo duele, cómo duele, cómo duele, cómo duele, cómo duele. Fuego, fuego, Minnesota. Fuego, fuego, Minneapolis. Fuego, fuego, Minnesota. Ay, fuego, fuego, Minneapolis. Fuego, fuego, Minneapolis. Fuego, que fuego. Si no corre la gente se va a quemar. Que si no corre la gente se va a quemar. Fuego, fuego, Minnesota. Fuego, fuego, Minneapolis. Fuego, fuego para Jorge. Fuego, fuego para los nombres que han matado la policía. Que se largan ya, que yo no quiero sufrir. Mi gente negra no quieren más, no quieren no sufrir. Que todos tenemos que vivir con unidad y no van a sufrir. Ay, cómo duele, 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 cómo duele. Mataron a George como Philando, como Brianna, cómo duele. Mataron a George como Philanda, como llamar. Cómo duele, cómo duele. Bomba para George.
That was
What an
awesome.
incredible moment.
Yes.
Zoe Colon has joined us. Welcome back to
Hi,
Final
Zoe.
Translation Bomba Live.
My favorite performance. So
Let's
just
go to-
in time. I have to say, I'm a little biased.
You always come on right after Maria. It's impeccable timing. Zoe, your reflections. Now watching it again, it was
Again,
it
a
was a
female
showstopper moment,
playing so powerful that she knew George Floyd. You know, it's just so much to say about her performance. I know right after that she did something, you know, like spoken word, hip hop oriented. So it was just powerful all the way around, you know. And I'm just so glad that we were able to play that again because, you know, I really wanted to see her again. So I'm so glad that you chose that clip.
No, and we're gonna bring her back. I've been in touch with her, and in fact, I want to give a shout out to Maria because she just came out with a new album today.
Wow. Yes.
Universal, who she's doing in collaboration with a hip hop artist, YMMI,
Yes.
who's a local Minnesota socially conscious rapper. So Maria is not stopping. I mean, she is incredible. Surely, I know that as a Puerto Rican that was raised on the island but lived here in adult life, I mean, to see a woman from the diaspora have so much, esa raíz es fuerte. You know, I mean, I was so impressed by someone that grew up on the East Coast with a lot of Puerto Ricans. She's from Minnesota. And for her to have that kind of authentic sabor was really impressive.
Oh, definitely. She had me over here, you know, feeling the beat, you know, our African roots, really feeling it. And it's so beautiful that, you know, even though she's out there, you know, in Minnesota, she's, you know, bringing it, using her culture, bringing her music, you know, and just spreading the love, but at the same time using her instrument as a way to create conscience, right? And to really put out there that pain that everybody is feeling, the collective pain that we're all feeling, really, with the loss of George Floyd. But in hopes that, you know, this movement doesn't stop and it continues until we get the reforms that need to happen. I'm
not surprised that she feels that pride in a place, you know, like where she comes from. I feel like the less Boricuas there are, if you will, the more you feel like you need to reaffirm who you are.
Right.
And, you know, I felt that in New York, and look how Boricua New York is, you know. So I can only imagine being and I guess I don't know the stats, but a predominantly white area and not necessarily fitting in. And that's the story of the Puerto Rican, that, you know, we have the citizenship, we have the status, and, you know, no somos ni de aquí ni de allá, como se dice, right? And we really struggle with identity no matter what, you know, skin color you have. And, you know, you feel this pride and you feel like this need to reaffirm. And that's always been the story with the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Like, people are like, wow, mucha gente ni ha ido a la isla nunca, you know, nunca han vivido ahí, pero tiene ese sentido de orgullo. And it has a lot to do with finding a place of belonging. that we often struggle with because we have this citizenship status. But we're always asked, ¿de dónde tú eres? Where are you from? Where are your parents from? It's never like we're considered American, you know?
Christina, you know, you dealt with a lot of the talents.
Yes.
And you know, I had you going crazy because I'm like, we got to get comedians. You're like, all right, I got comedians.
You did so wonderful, Christina. You are awesome. You handled it like a champ. You all the way through. You know, I saw the comment you made at the end. I was like, oh my gosh, she worked so hard. So congratulations to you.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. So Christina, what kind of reaction have you gotten from the artists? Because I think they didn't really know what they were getting into. And some of the leaders too. But I think the fact that I think they enjoyed being around not just other artists, but diverse artists, but also other leaders and figures in the Puerto Rican community.
Well, I'll say this much. When it comes to the comedians, Funky Bacalao was just on a high after. She was super just excited to just be amongst so many Hispanic people all together. She was so excited. She was just so thankful. You were on the same live as me the other night with Eli Castro. And he actually called me and I was able to kind of like talk to him. And the first thing that I had said to him was thanking him for coming and being a part of the show. And what his response was, listen, I was privileged to be a part of that show because there was so much like great content and just real fruit of who we are as people. And that's kind of what we've gotten. I mean, we're still getting the emails every day. I know Ralph is getting them. I'm getting them, but I'm getting thanks from so many of the people who came onto our show. Just writing Ralph and I emails every day, just saying, listen, this was amazing. You guys did a great show. We love that you highlighted, you know, Hispanics. And I think that especially during this time, it's important to highlight brown people, to highlight the good in all of us. And like I said before, not just in the singing, but that we have real content within us. You know, we had people like lawyers and we had people who are council people and we had people from different countries. I mean, not countries, but we're here in Philadelphia. We have people over there in Florida. We have people who were on the island, but it was like no matter where we were all connected at this moment in the same space to celebrate being Boricua, which to me, and I've seen that through all of their emails, we all feel the same way. Like it was just such a sense of pride and just such a sense of like, wow, like, you know, we're amazing people. And I continue to get this from people. Mia wrote to me, Miss Mia Mendez after the show, same thing. Thanking me for allowing her to be a part of it, just being so orgullosa, you know, to be there, being the spotlight and celebrating who we are. And I think that that's just all around feeling that all of us are feeling, not just the artists, but I think even us, you know, as the host of the show, I think we all walked away. And I think even the next day looking at each other's comments, we all were like, dang, that was awesome. Like I told Ralph before I even got into my segment, like, I'm writing through text to him. We're going back and forth. And I'm like, I'm over here emotional. Like, you know, as soon as the show started, I was on the other side of the computer and my daughter is like going in and out of the room. And she's like, why are you crying? I'm already like an emotional person. But I was crying when the show started. Like when she started to sing the Borinqueña, when everything just started. Because I'm like, oh my God, we worked so hard. And this just looks so great. And we're highlighting us. Like, where is there somewhere on TV that you can turn it on and it just highlights being
right.
You got to do it yourself. And exactly. And I got to give a shout out to Albert and Vanessa in particular and Ray Velez, because those people behind the scenes really made this look. Because the biggest feedback I got was, how did y'all have a TV studio someplace? Like, where did you do this? Like, how did this show look like it cost $3 million? And by the way, it would have if you did it with network television, because these people are so valuable. The other thing I think, and we want to play a clip, and I want to get our panelists' reaction to it because it was one of my favorite moments of the show, is that, you know, part of the message, and I think we got to figure this out, but it's got to be part of the message for Bomba Live moving forward is we're going to support each other. And I think the fact that we had business people at the table, and I think part of the message was you need to support Puerto Rican businesses. You need to buy these artists' music online. You've got to support the efforts, the advocacy efforts of these organizations, because if we work together, and we saw this post Hurricane Maria, when Puerto Ricans probably put together billions of dollars of food and services and resources, we work together. We're unstoppable. I mean, the best thing I can say about Puerto Ricans is that we could do the show this weekend. Nobody old, and we could do the same show Because that's the kind of quality and depth we have in our community.
I think what I really appreciated was that the artists that came on were socially conscious, and they were thinking about the times, and they were thinking about, you know, issues in our community beyond the artistry, which I appreciate personally. So that was exciting for me to see how powerful that was for me, you know, to see that people really care about the issues. Elizalde, for example, here locally has gotten involved in a few political campaigns, getting out the Latino vote, and, you know, doing skits with us and everything. So he's no stranger to that. But that was very inspiring to me to see that people wanted to share their artistry, but were also sharing their, you know, their causes and things that they really care about and that impact our community. And I think that was really powerful for the show.
Let's get a comment on this from Shirley, then we'll go to the clip.
What can I say? It was just amazing. I mean, I can't say enough. I can't find the words to say how, like, you know, Christina said, we all felt as one, united in one voice, supporting each other, supporting hopefully these artists moving forward, and, you know, making that bridge to connect between, you know, the people back in the island and the people in the diaspora. We're so many, and we have so much talent, and we have so much to give, and we can be an agent of change, of positive change in this country, and be involved in any and every issue. I believe that strongly.
Amen.
However, Bomba Live continues, it's going to continue that spirit, and we want to hear from the audience. Y'all got ideas? Should we do the show every week? Should we, you know, I mean, there's a lot of potential to this. But one of the things that there was a lot of great moments on the show. But we wanted to just give you a few clips to give people a little flavor of what they may have missed. And again, we're going to do a full replay this Saturday for people. So, you know, if you didn't get paid, tomorrow, you're going to be broke anyway. So why don't you sit at home, order out pizza, and sit down with your family and kids, because this was a historic moment that you missed last weekend. But the clip we're going to show, I think in some ways really embodies a moment in time only where you could get, you only got on Bomba Live, one of the top political activists in our community, fangirling, so a couple and all of us fanboying and fangirling, a couple freestyle legends. Let's go to the clip.
Thing is that freestyle was everything to me. My cousin Guido, who still lives in the Bronx, was the first one to introduce me and sneak me into the Copacabana. So it's kind of
kidding.
So
Look who's on screen.
Yeah, I mean,
Is that queso?
So Rosa,
it was the 80s.
Tell us about the Copa in the 80s.
No, actually, all I remember was dancing and always getting in trouble for breaking curfew, you know? It's just what it is.
I can't explain what I'm going through. Wish I could find the right words to say. Losing control and it's over you. Nobody else can make me feel this way. Could it just be that I'm curious and I want to make you play my game? But something tells me that it's serious, because I go insane when I hear your name. I'm hooked on you, yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm hooked on you, yeah. What can I do? It's over you.
Woo! Woo! That's
Love it.
Wow.
We got to go to the Bronx. We got to go to the birthplace of freestyle. And of Rosa Clemente, apparently. Zoe, I know we all have Uncle Guido,
She
first of all.
sounded amazing.
She did.
She looked
But it did
amazing.
sound good.
She does look
I was
amazing.
singing along. I was jamming back
Me
here.
too.
Freestyle, I don't know. I was 13 to 17, I would say, at the height of that whole movement.
Absolutely.
You know, I know there's a lot of Italians that love freestyle, but it's truly Boricua. It's really us. It's our experience in New York.
It was our game, no question.
Yeah, Mark Anthony started that way. La India.
Absolutely.
know,
Judy Torres.
it
George
was
Lamont, a lot of people. Yeah, absolutely.
I like how Rosa was like deep into her comment, and we all stopped and was like, "Is that K7?"
Is that K7?
I know. I feel that. Well, you know, when you're not on the segment, you just you got to roll with the punches. much respect to Rosa. I've never seen Rosa that happy in 25 years knowing her. I mean, she's always like really pissed off about what's going on in the world. Rightfully so. Former vice presidential candidate. She ran in the Green Party. Vice presidential candidate twice, I believe, for Jill Stein, of all people. So, but I was great to see Rosa just like bug out and chill.
Yeah.
And of course, me and Christina put a hoagie bet that K7 would make an appearance. So she won that one. But yeah, it was quite a moment. So
snuck into the Copa for sure, which sadly I think just announced that they have to close because of COVID. But I think we've all snuck in at some point to one of the clubs. There was like the Fever on East Tremont and Webster. That was like where all the freestyle heads would hang out, and it was so kind of underground, So yeah, I mean, absolutely, that was exciting. She just sounded amazing. I
hope did. I was in my car the other day, and I don't know, eso se quedó en la mente, so I was singing it and singing. She's like, why do you keep singing that song? I'm like, it's such a great memory. And I'm like, listen, I have to let you hear what she used to sound like. And I played like an old video, and then I said, and this is what she sounded like on the show. She was like, she sounds the same. I'm like, right. I mean, she has real talent.
Mm-hmm. She sounded great, and thank you for K7 for stopping by. And Betty D's been great. We've been interacting with her on social media. We're going to keep. She's part of the family. Also want to respect Richie Rich. I mean, that's right, being the producer of our freestyle content, did a great job DJing. Brought his squad. I mean, he really was one of our great contributors. So we're going to keep supporting him and supporting him on Mega New York. I mean, in Connecticut, and his live shows online. Yeah. Before we get to our very special guest that Shirley's going to introduce us in a second, we did want to kind of reset the table for people. You're watching a simulcast of both Bomba Live, which the party Sigue Sigue, and Found in Translation talk show. For people that maybe just got wind of us because of Bomba Live and not too familiar with Found in Translation's the platform that founded Bomba Live that I host along with these wonderful ladies on a weekly basis. And we talk about the issues that our community cares about. So in that spirit, we want to want to give people a couple of news updates, and then we'll bring on our very special musical guest. And at the end of the show, I'm going to announce a big time act that was going to be on the show. Didn't work out with the technical, but is going to make a return appearance on Bomba Live. Y'all are not going to miss that great announcement. And we'll hear a little bit also from the panel about what's next for Bomba Live. So for people that saw, we had a good week in the Supreme Court of all places to many of our surprise. So today, the Supreme Court in a 5-4 decision affirmed that President Trump and his administration did not stop the DACA program legally, and it was done under malice, reckless conditions. And so what that means is that our dreamers who received a temporary legal status during the Obama administration are their temporary status remains. So many, hundreds of thousands, nearly 1 million people in our country who are American in every sense except papeles are going to be able to stay here at least legally in a temporary basis. So this doesn't preclude Trump from potentially, killing that executive order sort of in another way. But one of the things that was so impressive about it was that Justice Roberts, who was a Republican appointed, a Bush appointee, who's the Chief Justice, wrote the majority opinion, which was surprising. He went with us on this. But Justice Sotomayor went further in her opinion to say, he may have voted for it for sort of technical reasons, but I want to tell you the real deal. So Christina Vega is going to read us an excerpt from Justice Sonia Sotomayor's opinion around why the DACA ruling was a correct one.
Sotomayor writes, Roberts was wrong to discount Trump's myriad racist comments about Mexican immigrants as people who have lots of problems, the bad ones, criminals, drug dealers, and rapists, and his comparison of undocumented immigrants to animals, as she wrote, taken together the words of the president, and to help create the strong perception that the rescission decision was contaminated by impermissible discriminatory animus.
I have to say, it had to be a Puerto Rican from the Bronx. I'm just saying.
How did I know that was coming? Did I not set you up for that one, Zoe?
Okay.
I'll tell you, her opinion was so brilliant, I can't understand it. But the point is that what she's saying is you can't make up rules out of racism. I mean, that's essentially what she's saying. You have to have legal reasons, and racism in this country, discrimination, blatant discrimination.
You have to be able to back it up.
You know what I'm saying? So any other thoughts, Zoe? I know you were proud to see Justice Sotomayor doing her thing this week.
No, I mean, this is why it's important to get out the vote, get the Latino vote, to invest in the Latino community, and, train and, offer leadership development courses and coach people so that they can run for office. This is so important in our community. We needed someone, and we continue to need someone like Sotomayor, who grew up in the Bronx River projects, as far as I understand it, with, through humble beginnings and modest upbringing, right? To understand the trials and tribulations of being undocumented. No, she was not undocumented, but she had similar challenges in her life. And that's why she's able to empathize and to feel the way that she did. Right. And that's the importance of our vote, and also of developing leadership within our community so that people like her can vote. Can run for office and be voted in by our
Zoe makes such a good point, because if Trump wins again, first of all, I mean, you talk about a court that's going to get totally skewed. RGB can't live for us forever. I mean,
exactly. I'm like, when people
and let me tell you something, and I don't say this to be flip. He will have no filter, because he knows nobody's going to do anything to him. Right. I mean, I would get arrested at some point in the next Trump administration. Like, he would just start arresting activists for just illegally. He wouldn't care. Yep. So we were dealing with a very precarious time, and don't let the polls, he's not looking good. Things change. People have a weird cultist thing with this guy, and maybe they're not talking to the pollsters how they really feel, because that happened a few years ago too. So the Electoral College makes it very, very iffy.
I'm a little hopeful, because I think after Hurricane Maria and the way they mishandled it, I think even folks that are inclined to say yo no voto, yo no me meto en política, take that somewhere else. I think for the first time they were like, hold up. Did he just throw up a paper? Throw a paper towel at us?
We would hope so.
Yep. We hope so. Yep.
We would hope so. And much respect to our LGBT community, because early in the week, the Supreme Court verified, you can't fire people because they're gay. I mean, most people were like, that still wasn't the law of the land. Unfortunately, it wasn't in half of the country.
And it's crazy that we even have to talk about this today, right?
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Shirley, before we introduce our very special guest, has another very important Puerto Rican news headline she wanted to share.
Super important. But I heard that Bad Bunny tied Gloria Estefan for third most weeks at number 1 on top Latin albums chart. So he has now tied with Gloria Estefan. So that's really a great accomplishment. Un Boricua doing it. So we can't take that away from him. And I'm very happy for him.
He's going to conga past her this week. He's going to break that record fast. It's hard for some of us to understand it. But if you look at all the metrics, Bad Bunny is the biggest music artist in the world right now. Period. Not Latino, not Puerto Rican. He is the biggest artist in the world. And let me tell you, obviously, he's been very significant with Puerto Rican politics, with the politics of gender identity issues in Latino culture. And he now has gotten engaged in the Black Lives Matter conversation. So, mucho respeto a Benito.
Yeah, I was feeling some type of way because he wasn't saying much on Black Lives Matter, but it sounds like, okay, that's good that he made some advancement in that camp.
I'm not a fan of his music, but I like social activism.
Absolutely. Well, when Benito comes on the show, you can have that conversation with him, Zoe.
Let's bring him on.
Hey, you laughing. By the end of the summer, wait, Bomba Live's going.
He ain't got nothing.
That's right.
But you know what? We've got another great Puerto Rican talent in the queue, and I want to make sure we give her time. So, Shirley, why don't you introduce our very special guest that was on Bomba Live, and she did such a wonderful job bringing traditional Puerto Rican music to the table that we had to have her back as soon as possible.
That's right, mi gente. So, a petición popular, we are back with Aleyda Santos tonight. Aleyda. Let's see if Aleyda.
Hey.
Hello, hola.
Súper emocionada.
¿Cómo están? Buenas noches.
Lo más que me encantó también es que oía el coquí. Cuando estaba, después que terminó.
Qué bueno, estoy bien contenta de estar nuevamente con ustedes. Me pidieron que enviara saludos, pero como no hay tiempo, pues un saludo a todos los que me están viendo en todas partes. Estamos en Colombia, en México, en diferentes estados y también en Puerto Rico. Tengo a la gente activada.
Muy bueno.
Y Aleyda viene directo desde el pueblo de Comerío, que es el pueblo donde yo me crié, obviamente, y Aleyda, valga la aclaración, es mi prima. So estamos en familia.
Claro, Santos Power.
Yeah, that's right. Santos Power, you know it. So, Aleyda, cuéntanos, háblanos un poquito de cómo nació este amor por el canto, por la música.
Pues desde pequeña siempre me gustó la música, pero yo primero empecé tocando instrumentos, el 4 a los 11 años en la Escuela de Bellas Artes de aquí de Comerío. Luego también cantaba en la iglesia, en la universidad, empecé con lo que es la música coral y bueno, básicamente pues siempre fue algo importante en mi vida y luego de estar en Idol Puerto Rico, pues dije, bueno, vámonos de lleno a la música.
Y Aleyda, cuéntanos, ¿qué te motivó a entrar a la competencia de Idol Puerto Rico?
Pues yo fui a acompañar a un amigo. Fui a acompañar a un amigo, o sea que a lo mejor si no hubiera ido, quién sabe que... Porque yo siempre veía este tipo de competencias, pero yo decía que nunca iba a ir. Porque yo decía que a veces, por ejemplo, pues en mi caso, que yo soy ciega, yo decía, yo no voy a ir para allá para que utilicen mi condición como que, ay, voten por ella, bendito, porque ella es ciega y hacer a veces estas historias que hacen bien trágicas y todo eso. Pero bueno, fui a acompañarlo y pasé por todas las etapas, él también casi entra, pero bueno, al final yo fui a acompañar y fui la que llegó básicamente hasta el final.
Ah, como es el destino, right? When something is for you, it's for you, right? God kind of aligns it for you, so it happens. That's great. So, Aleyda, what are you singing for us tonight?
Bueno, pues hoy, en esta noche, quiero cantar una canción que es parte de mi disco, se llama Tal Como Soy, bueno, el disco. La canción se llama Libertad y la compuso Sammy Santos, el hermano de Shirley.
Santos
y bueno,
Power.
Es una canción dedicada... yes, mucho talento. Es una canción dedicada a todas las personas, todos los boricuas, bueno, puede ser de cualquier país, pero bueno, en este caso es todos los boricuas que han tenido que salir fuera del país, que si tienen que irse lo hagan, pero que nunca olviden de dónde son y que si pueden que regresen, que siempre regresen.
Bueno, mi gente, aquí tenemos a Aleyda Santos por aquí por Bomba Live.
La voz se me quiebra en llanto cuando miras hacia el norte. Tal vez no sea tanto, tal vez no te importe ya. El amor que vive en mí, que no deja de vibrar. El cielo y el mar nunca me abandonarán. Arena y sal por siempre te acompañarán. Cuando tu alma fría no te deje ya soñar. Sabes que a mis playas siempre puedes regresar. Te dejo en libertad. Yo quiero estar contigo y tú con ella. No importa tu destino, que yo sé perder y no me moriré sin tu cariño. Un día volverás buscando entre mis brazos el ayer, aquel que un día te hizo estremecer y llenó todo tu ser. No te alejes de mis playas y disfruta de mi sol. Yo soy tu isla querida, llévame en tu corazón. Ve y forja tu destino, que esperándote estaré hasta el día en que regreses. Te dejo en libertad. Yo quiero estar contigo y tú con ella. Ve y forja tu destino, que yo sé perder. Y no me moriré sin tu cariño. Un día volverás buscando entre mis brazos el ayer, aquel que un día te hizo estremecer y llenó todo tu ser. Tengo la libertad de morir a donde estés. Lleva tu corazón a tu alma y tu bandera. Te doy la libertad, no me olvides. Yo soy tu patria. Te doy la libertad, ser boricua donde sea. Lleva en tu corazón a tu patria y tu bandera.
Yes, aquí me tienes ondeando la bandera puertorriqueña. Preciosa libertad, ¿verdad? No importa dónde estamos, it doesn't matter where we are. We miss our island, we love it, and we're forever faithful to our culture and our roots in Puerto Rico. Gracias, Aleyda.
Así es.
Aleyda, ¿cuáles son tus redes sociales? Comparte con nosotros para que los que están en sintonía esta noche puedan seguirte.
Pues mis redes sociales me pueden seguir en Facebook como Aleyda María Oficial. Aleyda siempre con Y, muy importante. En Twitter y en Instagram como Aleyda_oficial. Y mi canal de YouTube también se pueden suscribir, que es Aleyda Oficial. Y mi música la pueden encontrar en iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, etc.
Aleyda, habla Rico ya. Mil gracias para regresar a Bomba Live. Mi único es que cuando regresa la próxima vez, si puede tocar su 4, por favor, porque queremos escuchar tocando la música de nosotros.
Claro que sí, eso es algo que yo siempre canto de todo, pero lo que es nuestra música típica, pues tiene que estar presente siempre.
Perfecto,
siempre. Así que cuenten con eso.
Aleyda Santos, mil gracias y va a regresar muy pronto y gracias por continuar la tradición, la música típica de Puerto Rico.
Gracias a ustedes y mucho éxito siempre.
Gracias, Aleyda.
That was American Idol Puerto Rico finalist. Aleyda Santos. Let's bring the rest of the panel back so we can, for this last segment. It's always great to, I know there was a lot of emotion going on in the background. Not only Aleyda singing, but people hearing those coquis loud and clear.
Yes, I love that.
The heart.
That's the best
You know
part
what I'm
of
saying?
you in the background. It's just authentic and makes it genuine.
I feel like she should include that in the recording if she hasn't already, you know.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's a really good point. In this last
That's
segment
awesome.
of this simulcast, the Found in Translation of Bomba Live, and again, thank you so much, especially for the Bomba Live fan world that's now new to the Found in Translation experience. These are the kind of conversations that we have entre nosotros in the community around these hot issues. Of course, we wanted to make sure we got the important news updates in, as well as have some fun talking about some of the lighter moments and touching moments from the Bomba Live experience last Saturday. I want to remind people, we're going to show the full replay on Bomba Live's Facebook page this week. So if you didn't catch it, just the same times, the same schedule. We're going to start promoting to remind people at 5 o'clock Saturday. Chef Greg's going to cook some Puerto Rican dinner. 6 o'clock, Carlos Ojeda with the National Puerto Rican Youth Address. Zoe returns at 6:30 on Saturday with Dr. Denora Nieves. Dr. Nieves killed it, Zoe. I mean, I got off screen because I was like, between
awesome.
Zoe and Denora, there's no need for me to be here.
Eso no fue nada. Trust me. She does spoken word poetry. I mean, she is something else. So I'd love to have her back, and she really enjoyed it and wants to be back.
She's part of the family and has been a contributor over the years to our podcast. So, but let's start with, I want to ask these two, I'm going to put them on the spot and say, before we have our announcement, our big A-list guest we're going to have very soon, what do y'all want Bomba Live to be? Like, because we went into this like, okay, we're going to do this big And it's not going to be a 2-hour thing. And yeah, all the events got canceled, Chicago, New York, and Orlando. So in Puerto Rico, obviously, hay feta patronal, what's going on with COVID. So we're just going to do it. And we're not going to do 2 hours. We're going to do 3. Hey, we'll just do 10.5. And we just dropped it like a mixtape. And it was incredible. So now everyone's kind of like, it can't be it. And you just can't wait a year. So let's start with you, Christina. You put so much work into this.
Exactly. Let's start with Christina.
I mean, what should it be? And I'm not trying to give you more work, but I mean, what are you left with that we need to, because on some, it has to continue. I don't have all the answers, so we're going to have to figure this out together, including the people watching this. You got to let us know what you want moving forward because we want to provide it.
Right. Well, I think that was my big thing after it was done. I wrote to a bunch of my friends. I sent like a mass email and was like, please send us reviews. Go to the Facebook page, drop a review so that we can hear from you. Because, you can have great criticism all the time, but we need to hear like constructive criticism as well. Like how could we have done it better? What else can we do to make it different? So that was my first biggest thing. My second thing is, like I stated earlier, there's nowhere in the world that you turn on the TV and it's just about all of our educational things, our talent, our artistry. There's no place on there. So when you say, what do we want to do? You're not adding work. I don't care. I'm like so fueled by this. And listen, I sent Ray a text the other day, right? So let's say it with the other women here. And I was like, I don't care. Let's do this forever. Like I'm here. And I probably sound like I'm nuts, right?
Well, you do, but that's okay.
That's okay.
It's a good way.
You know what? That's the good thing, because how many people can say that they do things that they're passionate about? Mm-hmm. And I think that after we did this, I had such a passion within myself that I was like, oh my God, like, I don't want to sound like the typical Hispanic person on the day of the parade that's like, I love being Boricua. Like, I honestly feel like it wasn't just about being Boricua in the moment. It was just like being so prideful of like, see, this is what we are. Like, I hope you watched it and you saw this is who we are as a people. We're not just the drug dealers people talk about on the corner. We're not the people who live off of welfare and have no education. Like, we have substance. And to see that highlighted on the screen, I had it playing on my cell phone, on the laptop in front of me getting ready. I had it up on my TV screen with you.
I can't stop watching it because it just affirms, what we're about. And the thing is, and I've shared this story many times on the show, is that the confusion as a child in my life was, and in Philly, and Chrissy knows the story. They used to call our neighborhood the Badlands, and it was this real negative. We had the biggest drug corner in the world, apparently, and Ethan Butler, and they did the whole thing on. And it's so there was all this thing about all these bad people, but I'm like, everyone I'm around is a real nice person. They work hard, they care about each other, they got culture, they so trying to dispel that myth is basically the focus of my life. And so I think on some level, I think a lot of Puerto Ricans and a lot of people that know Puerto Ricans, other Latinos, other people are like, they kind of sense that too. And it's like, and yeah, maybe you see a celebrity on TV here or there, but it's like, hold on, you gave us the whole picture in one shot. And they want to see more of this picture.
Exactly my point.
Shirley, jump in this conversation, my friend. I know this meant a lot to you.
I just really hope that we can dive into all those great topics that we kind of just surfaced over during our Bomba Live event. I think there's so much more we need to speak of, especially so we can harbor in and bring in all that support from all Puerto Ricans all over this nation. Because like I said before, we are involved in many things. We have a lot of good causes that we are supporting. And I think if we unite, we can really, really, really make a change.
I think this could be used as an organizing tool. I think it's kind of beyond like the content, like the entertainment value of the content. It's kind of like an organizing vehicle.
And that's what I wanted to suggest. 2020 is a huge election year for our community. And I think that if we kind of round up, all the folks that were on the show, maybe break it up into a few sessions, ask folks if they're, interested in maybe motivating folks to get out the vote or to get more involved in their communities if we don't want it to be too political. But I think there's great significance, for our community in this election year. And it's powerful to see so many role models and people from our culture, from our background, from our community, and the various talent. And I think we should utilize it for something, So yes, I agree that we should do this irrespective of if it's an election year or not. But I think we should capitalize on that and say, okay, can we mobilize like a Elizalde and some other folks? Like, of course, my favorite, Maria Isa, and say, hey, can we come up with some, art, some skits, some poetry, some spoken word that really speaks to the importance of engaging in civic engagement and voting and getting out the vote and voting by mail. There's primaries that are coming up. There's so much work to be done. And I think we should celebrate our culture, but also utilize this as a tool to engage people in conversations that maybe they don't usually feel comfortable engaging in. And you can do that through art, which is what Bad Bunny does, right? He gets folks that maybe have never really thought about being political to be political through his artistry. So maybe there's a way for us to do that, Maybe there's a way. And I think it should continue, even when it's not an election year. I think it was great content, and it celebrates us, and I think it was pretty dope. And
I think one more thing I just wanted to say is that something that I also realized the very next day is that for other people, I don't think this was the end for them either. Because after we got off the show, people kept liking the page. The show was done. It's the next day. Instagram started getting likes, Facebook, and I'm watching them, and I'm like, they don't expect this to be done because people are still following us after yesterday. So give the people what they asked for.
The biggest thing, I have two things. One on Zoe's point, and then another comment to give y'all props, is that, I want Puerto Ricans watching this very clear. If we decide collectively and say, okay, we're going to do everything we can to turn out Puerto Ricans in Florida, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. They got to keep going to Wisconsin. There's 10, 20, 30,000. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans in Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. If we decide this is what we're going to focus on the next 6 months, Trump is over. Nobody can stop that because of the numbers that we have just in those 3 states. So I want us to own the power of that and not wait for political parties, political candidates, and then complain when they come to us last minute. They're not going to understand our community the way we do. So we've got to do it ourselves. That's the bottom line. Yeah. So, and then the other thing is that the other comment I wanted to give you ladies and the rest of our contributors was, one of the other things people told me was, where did you find all these TV broadcasters to host all these segments? Like, what television stations do they work at? Like, I've never seen them on Telemundo. Like, who are these people? And I'm like, you know what? And I found a translation. These platforms and Zoe's gotten very involved. She does a lot of webinars and virtual events in Florida with different organizations. So this has been a great breeding ground for this kind of talent.
It started with you though. And that's
I appreciate that.
Stories on these people that came on the show. They always speak to your leadership and your coaching. Same goes for me. I started doing this with you. So thank you.
Took her almost 7 years to come on the show. She was one of my first invitees. Dr. Nieves, who came on, she was on my podcast a few times years ago. So, but that's okay. Everything happens at good time. You were going to say, Christina, then we have a special clip to announce a very special guest coming on the show soon.
I was just touching on what Zoe said, because I think that we all have done amazing things and continue to do amazing things, but I as well started everything with you. I just sent Ray a photo today, and he was actually one of my biggest cheerleaders, and he was at my college graduation with me. When I graduated from college, he gave me my
I was so good looking and thin then. Oh my God.
We all were.
I'm going to blow that picture up.
Internship. He was embarrassed with me on the plane for the first time I was ever on, because it was right after 9/11.
I ain't going to embarrass you, girl. Being on that plane. Never been on a plane. She was like 20 years old.
Oh, we go back till I was a baby.
Wow.
But Ray has actually been a pioneer for just the people in our community and myself. Like, I feel like I've done a whole lot of great work because of Ray. And I did a lot with Love Shouldn't Hurt. But again, he was one of the first people who said, it is this small, it's going to be bigger than that. And he pushed the way for me to actually keep going forward. So Ray, kudos to you, not just us, but to you.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
And I have to say something, because I think I've known Ray for many, many years. I've been here 30 years. And I think it's been 30 years I've known this cat right here. When I came here, he just introduced me to what it was to be a Puerto Rican and, in the United States, and really working and being, socially conscious and working and finding your niche within your community. He did that for me. And I had an opportunity to go to my first Hispanic conference with that organization you used to work for before.
U.S. Hispanic Leaders. So Christina was down with them.
I was
She's a Chicago person.
Yes, and I got a chance to go to Chicago.
Conference.
And I just sat there and said, oh my goodness, all these Puerto Ricans doing all this awesome work. And I met Congressman Gutierrez, and I was like floored.
Yeah.
I wanted to move to Chicago that year.
I might have been in the same conference.
I was ready to say, it might have been, yeah. So these ladies are embarrassing me, so I'm going to put this clip on because I'm getting red, and I appreciate all those comments. But like I said, it's a team effort. One person can't do it alone, so we're going to keep building this out. And all the other people that aren't here now, I mean, Zulay, Dionelli, the rest of the crew. So even Armonia, what a character that guy is, but he's a big part of the team. We love that guy a lot. So, there was someone that was actually one of the biggest social media stars that was part of Bomba Live. Unfortunately, he had some technical issues, so he was part of Bomba Live, but he wasn't live. He has agreed to be on the show live with us, talking to us here in vivo for a full-length interview and conversation. And let's just air the clip because he's one of the biggest celebrities in the Puerto Rican IG world right now. And let's just air the clip so we can see who this is.
Hello. Sí, neno, yo acabo de salir ahora mismo. Mira, el GPS dice 20 minutos, pero tranquila, que yo llego en 3, tú me conoces. Tú sabes cómo yo guío. ¿Sabes? Rápida y furiosa como siempre. Mira, es más, el carro lo tengo en Sport, así que voy a las millas por ahí para abajo, como NASCAR. ¡Miau! Pero nada, tranquila, nos vemos allá, bye. Ay, esa nena, qué loca. ¡Move! Dame paso, let me merge, porque si no chocamos los dos, a mí no me importa. Más te vale. Idiota. Y mira, ¿te quieres alejar un poco? Estás bien pegado. Excuse me, ¿qué es lo tuyo? ¿Necesitas algo de mi baúl? Dios mío. ¿Estás leyendo la tablilla? A ver, exacto. Thank you, aléjate. ¿Qué tú miras? ¿Ah? ¿Algún problema? Yeah, that's what I thought. Didn't think so. Estúpido. Ay, quiere cruzar la calle la vieja esta. Acaba. Hurry up, come on. Vamos. Avanza si no quieres que te mande con papá Dios. Thank you. Ay, Dios mío, como yo tengo estos labios, qué puerca. Mi cartera. Dios mío. ¡Ey! A mí no me toques bocina. No. Pásame por encima, dale. Paso tiene estro, dale. Pásame por encima. Adelante. Come on.
You know, it's funny. I don't know any Puerto Rican women like that. I don't know what he's talking about.
What?
Yeah.
No comments.
Right.
No
comments. Sin comentario. Unbelievable. Julián will be on in the next couple of weeks on
Yay.
Unbelievable. He's hilarious, that guy.
He's
Good
funny.
guy. Yeah. Oh, he's very funny. I like his he's got a lot of videos around being a child in a Pentecostal household, which are pretty funny too.
Oh, really?
I'm sure
Very
those are
relatable.
funny.
Very relatable stuff. So Julián, he'll be on a future episode. Much respect to Becky Boricua, who keeps us connected to the glitterati, the celebrity set. So she's been really cool. And Domino Saints is part of her crew. They want to come back on too. They did their thing on.
They were awesome.
They want to come on, yeah. So we're negotiating. So Becky always got a surprise up her sleeve. Much respect to her. She's been great to us. Any final thoughts, my friends, on Bomba Live, Found in Translation, this experience, and any announcements? I know you're always doing stuff, Zoe, down in Florida. So any shout outs, anything you want to share? Shirley, please.
I just wanted to remind everybody that we are continuing to support Colectivo Ile. Look at the ticker, find their PayPal account, contribute, go to Bomba Live .co, right? And you'll find a way to donate to them. We got to continue to support this great organization.
I was going to talk about the Bomba group, and there might have been more than one, but I recall one performance in Puerto Rico, de Loíza, right? The group from Loíza.
Cultura Activa, sí.
Yeah, and they were really good. And I think I love that connection with the island. So I love the fact that I actually made a donation that same day to Colectivo Ile, and we've actually invited them to do a few things here in Orlando. We brought them to UCF too. So we're doing what we can. But it would be great to stay connected to what's happening in Puerto Rico, because I'm going to bring it back to politics again. I'm sorry, I'm on that kick today.
Please.
I'm feeling some type of way today because it's getting closer to elections, and pero
tell me about it.
Yeah. So I mean, I just feel like the more that we can connect the diaspora to the island and vice versa, and for people to understand that our vote helps the island and vice versa, and that political activism and activism on the island also inspires us. I think that's really powerful. And maybe through this show we can continue to bring those communities together. So I would love to see that again.
I'm so glad, Zoe, and Christina, you're definitely going to get a final word here. But on that point, I'm glad you brought that up, Zoe, because we have elections coming up in your former stomping grounds, New York State, Tuesday, to have a lot of impact on Puerto Rican leadership and the future of the Puerto Rican community. So we've got the congressional election for Congressman Serrano's old seat in the Bronx. And I don't want to throw out, me and Zoe could have that conversation, but I need people to pay close attention. Make sure you come out and vote in the Bronx on Tuesday, because that could go a whole lot of ways, in a few ways that would not be good for the Puerto Rican community. So please do your homework and vote. Go out and vote in the Bronx on Tuesday. AOC has a primary on Tuesday as well, and I think it's safe to say we need AOC to keep it moving. So let's get out for our girl. Just because she's very high profile doesn't mean she couldn't. She's not Teflon. It's her first time, and the other people got the conservative Democrats are putting a lot of money out against her. So let's go out support AOC on Tuesday in New York State. 2 other names. You may have other names too, Zoe, but our great friend to the show, Jessica Gonzalez Rojas, is running for state assembly in Queens. Awesome. So make sure you go out to vote for Jessica. And up in upstate New York, Rochester, another great friend to the show, former colleague of me and Zoe, Hilda Rosario Escher, is running for state senate in upstate New York. So there's some great Puerto Rican women running in New York State, New York City, that we need to support on Tuesday. And the primaries in Puerto Rico are coming up at the end of the month. So that's going to have ramifications on the conversations Zoe's talking about as well. So, Christina, any final thoughts?
My final word for everyone is just, I hope that if, someone has anything that they want to do this weekend, that watch Bomba live again. Just watch the replay. Take a pencil and paper with you so you can see all the Boricua businesses and artists that you should be supporting. I think that everybody should watch, and just we can only grow if we support each other as a people. So I think that people should watch the show, watch the replay, and honestly write down the businesses, the hair studios, just the different people that were there, and support your local businesses, support the comedians and everyone that was there, because we're only going to be able to be as strong as we are with, who we support and how we help each other just grow as a people.
That's a really good point, and that is a great way to end the show, because I go back to what Christina just said. Support all these people. Ellie's got a podcast.
Yes.
There's no reason why, with all the supporters Ellie got, Ellie shouldn't have one of the top. Ellie, with the support of the Bomba Life community and the Puerto Rican community, should get so popular on social media and Netflix, got to give them a special. And when you get those specials, you get really paid. And, there's no reason why Maria Isa shouldn't be selling downloads right now, just from our crowd. Right. We all need to support her new album, and the businesses, the National Puerto Rican Chamber of Commerce, Alan Taveras from Prensa Puerto Rico. What if we all got involved and said, 2% of all of our money this year going to go to these Puerto Rican businesses on the island? What kind of buying power would Puerto Ricans in the diaspora have to rebuild we can just do it ourselves. And that's what I think we're trying to get out of this whole situation. Thank you so much, Shirley, Zoe, Christina, and LB producing the show as well. Aleyda Santos, a wonderful return engagement here on Bomba Live and Found in Translation. This ain't stopping, fam. There's a movement. We're going to figure this out. We love your feedback. And again, watch the full replay this Saturday starting at 2:00 on Bomba Live's Facebook page. Thank you, ladies. Have a wonderful weekend now. We'll be chatting. Thank you all so much.